Cool. I think we are ready to go. So, hello everyone. Welcome to the Global AI Bootcamp 2021. And my name is Hatim Nagarwala. And today we are going to look at how do we develop a conversational bot. And mostly I'll be talking about what exactly the bot framework composer is, how it can help us, and what are the different use cases, and why should we use bot framework composer over here. Between the session, we'll also have cool demos to look at, and we'll make sure that we go hands-on with bot framework composer so that if you are at a level 100 where you want to start, where you are where you think that you want to start with bot framework right now, and you haven't heard about bot framework composer, at that case you will be able to jumpstart it right away from here. So let me start with this, a bit about me. My name is Hatim Nagarwala, and I'm a Microsoft's most valuable professional at for AI. And at my work, I work as a technology lead for AppsWave. Uh, I usually help companies to build AI and IoT solutions. And I lead the technical team out here in the company, where I have few developers and few QA and other team members which are involved with me to complete these solutions. I sometimes act as a cloud solution architect also in this case, wherever there is a need. And I love talking. So I love talking in community events like this. And I have been a part of a community with Kasam over here in India, and I have been a part of a community here in UAE, which also we deal with Azure stuff in that case. So let's start. Our agenda today would be, I will not take much time, but I'll tell you what exactly artificial intelligence is in this context. What are the common workloads we have in our day-to-day life in artificial intelligence? Then we'll move on to what is a conversational AI, and we'll talk about more details about what exactly when you say conversational AI, what do you mean about that? We will look at what a bot framework composer is. We'll see what are the building blocks. We'll see how you actually use the bot framework composer, where you download it from, what are the components inside the composer. We'll do a demo for building a bot, and I will try to take you through each and every scenario which is available as much as possible, and we'll go through that using the bot framework composer and try to run it on the local. If time permits, what we will try to do also is take this bot and try to publish it on Azure Bot Service. And finally, we'll have a quick Q&As. So if anyone in the session has any doubts or any questions related to this, we'll be happy to answer that. So first of all, what is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is, you can say, it's something which actually imitates you as a person, right? So you as a person, you can make decisions based on either your experience or what you know about that thing, okay? Or you see something and you say, okay, this is what it means. Like if you see something in front of you which is abnormal, you can actually also detect that abnormal events, and you can either report it to someone, or so it's like you are processing things happening around you, and because you have either experienced it before or you know about it, you can actually make something relatable to it, okay? And also in our day-to-day life, we talk to people, right? That talking to people is nothing but a conversation. So today I am kind of having a conversation with you, but the only difference is I'll be speaking for 30 minutes nonstop, and then I'll be giving you a chance to talk, right? So in that case, yes, we are engaging, but yes, you in your day-to-day life, you have conversations. You can do conversations by writing, you can chat, you can talk to someone, and this all things, when a computer or software imitates that, you call it as an artificial intelligence. So in a nutshell, we are not going to look at everything what AI offers to us, but there are common workloads we can divide this all into, which is one of them is machine learning. So as I said, whenever you see something, you need to understand what it is and you need to learn from it. So same way computer can take some data and some statistics on top of it, and then create a model which can predict depending on what data was available. You have anomaly detection, which helps you to detect unusual patterns, or something like spilling, fire, something like that. Computer vision is where images or cameras, so that will help you to actually understand what is happening in that picture or a video scene in that case. Fourth one is natural language processing, where you will be able to, the software will be able to actually understand what is written over there, or uh, if you're using speech services, in that case, the voice can be actually detected, and you can understand what the user is trying to mean. And the final one, which is more important for our current scenario, is the conversational AI. So in the conversational AI space, it's nothing but a bot. It's you can say that someone or the computer is actually waiting for you to have a conversation, and you might know this since a long time. So you talk to virtual agents, okay? But that virtual agents, like when you chat before, there was someone who was sitting behind that bots or agents, and they were actually responding it to you. But nowadays, what you can do is with conversational AI, you can have AI agents, or you can say virtual agents sitting or scaling up in that case, where you as a human can raise your questions, raise your problems, and the AI agents can help you resolve that issues. So if you see that conversational AI, so it helps you to have a dialogue between your AI agent and a human being. So you can ask. So for example, you can have a support bot, as mentioned in this picture, where you can say, okay, I have something related to my flight. Okay, if I'm traveling from one place to another and I want to understand where my flight is, I can actually go ahead and ask the bot that which terminal it is going to fly from, or if it is delayed, or I can ask whether there are meal preferences in the flight. I can do technically anything in that case, right? And you can engage this over multiple channels. That is the benefit of it. So it's not necessary that the chat which you're doing is only on the web, but you can have it on the web. You can have it through emails. You can have it through platforms like Teams, what you're connected right now. So you can host your bot on Teams. You can host it on Facebook Messenger and other social media platforms also. And you can also have custom interfaces where if you so in the past I worked with a semi-government agency out here in UAE, where we integrated voice commands, and it was integrated with a custom solution in turn connected to Power BI, where voice used to help us to you know uh, give reporting pages out, or give reports out to the users. So user used to give a query through voice, and that used to go on. So you don't have a single channel to engage over this conversational AI, but it should not feel like a machine. That is the you can say a main uh, uh, you can say a main reason why we use conversational AI out here. Okay, so in conversational AI, we have two things. I wanted to just quickly go over it. One of them is a Q&A maker service. In one of the sessions today, you will have detail about what a Q&A maker is. But from my end, I will just let you know that it is a knowledge base where you enter questions which have kind of predefined answers, but the questions might be asked in a different way depending on the user background. So what you will be doing is you'll be creating a knowledge base from scratch, and you can make it like a model using your question and answers. That question and answers can be entered using text input, or you can upload an Excel or CSV file, and you can utilize that knowledge base using to any of your bots. So you can integrate it to your existing bot, or you can also use REST services where you can integrate that into your client application. So Q&A maker service will help you in that. And the second one is Azure Bot Service. So Azure Bot Service will help you to actually, once you build all this mechanism, you can actually go ahead and publish this bot to a bot service. This bot service can consist of your Q&A maker or LUIS. LUIS is your language understanding, which we will actually go through it in our demo also. And this will also help you. The bot service is kind of your middle mediator over here. So this mediator will actually publish your bot, and then from here you can publish multiple channels out there. So you don't need to create different bots for Teams, for Facebook Messenger, but you can create a single bot, publish it to the bot service, and bot service will, you can actually publish your connectors out there, and that connectors can be your Teams connector or your email connector or your web connector or your Facebook Messenger connector. So this is where you will be actually publishing your bot to the Azure Bot Service. So let's start with what exactly a bot framework composer is. Okay, so previously I remember around 4 years back when I started developing bots, and at that point of time, what we used to do is we used to write code for it, and we used to understand each and every scenario. And I remember very well the dialogues and everything was not developed at that point of time back in 2016. So what we used to do is for each and every answer or a message we actually used to display to the bot, we used to write some code for it. Okay, and when you are making a large scale bot, it was very difficult. So to solve this issue, we had something which is way exciting, and I've been using this since a year now, and it has been amazing. So Bot Framework Composer is nothing but an integrated development tool. This is available in both platforms. Like either you can use a desktop version of it, or you can use a web version of it. Okay, and you can build it locally. And using drag and drop, you can actually create a whole conversation bot. Here I can say that you are not actually writing code, but it is good to have a coding and a business background together for you to actually develop a conversational bot over here. So you'll be able to, properly design, and you can go ahead and build that bot. So the best part, it is an open source tool. You can anytime go to aka.ms/composer, and you can go ahead and download, or you can contribute to the composer out here. You can download the latest release out there for the desktop version and the web version, and it will also help you. So it is an integrated tool, as I said, correct? So this integrated tool will also give you, anything you want to connect it inside your application itself. So what I mean by that is, if I can say it clearly, if you have a Q&A service, or you have a LUIS service available with you, right? So instead of going ahead and creating intents in your Q&A from outside the application, you can actually go ahead and use it directly from the Bot Framework Composer, and you can directly run it also. I can show you that in the demo. And you have multiple tools available where you can connect it with the Q&A service, or you can create intents and entities out here directly from the Bot Framework Composer. So there are a few building blocks related to our Bot Framework Composer and to have a conversational UI. The first one is language understanding. Okay, what I mean by language understanding over here is whenever a user is trying to ask you something in terms of a question, like how is the weather in a number. So the number here, what it means is it's a zip code. Okay, I know from my application that, okay, I have to take this number and I have to call an intent called as get weather, which takes a parameter which is a zip code. I can also write it in this case whether how is the weather in Dubai. In that case, I can pass the city inside my method depending on the intent I get. So this is the first and the basic building block of creating a conversational UI, where you try to understand what the user is trying to mean and what is the intention of the user out here. Okay, so the first building block is your language understanding. Next one over here is the dialogue, which is how you're starting the conversation or setting up the business logic over here. Okay, so consider that I am building up a dialogue where I want to get some information from the user. Okay, consider it is an IT support bot, and in the IT support bot, I said that, okay, my printer is not working at my place. Now for the bot to know if the printer is not working, which floor I am. I'm residing in a 10 floor office. So the bot will ask you that, okay, please let me know which floor I am. And in that case, if I'm not able to answer that question properly, I should be able to handle that property. And Bot Framework Composer will help you to actually do that in a flowchart way directly on your canvas. So you will have a canvas available with you. You can say, okay, you didn't give me a proper response. Do you want to try it this way, or do you want to do it you explain it in a different way, or you need some other help? So you can actually build a conversation with a flowchart where you can say that, okay, if this condition is met, do this. If this condition is not met, you can go ahead and do that. Third one is your language generation. Okay, so now you understood what the user wanted to met. Okay, and as per your first example, what we said is we wanted to go ahead and understand that, okay, user asked me that I want to do an IT support bot, my printer is not working, and you ask the user that, okay, which floor do you reside? uh, at that time I said, okay, I'm on the second floor right now. And then the bot should understand this and reply back in a way that the user understands again. So in this example, what I'll be doing is I will be saying that, okay, I know that you are on the second floor, but in the second floor, I have another question for you, which is there are three printers, one on the right hand side, one near the left, and one near the elevator, one near the staircase, maybe. So you ask a question in a way that the language which is generated has few parameters between the sentence. So you know that you want to ask which exactly the printer it is, or you may ask another question where do you know the serial number of the printer to exactly point out which printer it's is not working in that case. So in this conditions, you generate the language from the bot side, which display a string or a card or gives us an information where you have more details about the user so that the conversation can go ahead. And the fourth and the last building block is nothing but the memory. Okay, so in all the cases, you as a bot, you as a developer who is building this bot, should be able to store the user data, or should be able to understand where the user is in his current dialogue. Okay, so in this case, what happens here is just to be in a normal scenario, right? I was having a conversation with the IT support bot, and I gave the user saying I'm on the second floor right now. But I had another question, which is give me the serial number or which part of the place the printer is located. In this case, my bot should be able to understand and store this data into the memory so that later on, whenever I wanted to make a decision or the bot want to make a decision, he should be able to have all the conditions or all the points met in that case. Okay, so this is one of the cases which we have to which is one of the very important building blocks in a conversational bot, where you have memory, where you can store your information about the user, and you can go ahead and use that information depending on the intentions you have in your application. So your bot framework composer brings all of this together in one package. Okay, and that is why we want to go ahead and use the bot framework composer. So let's go ahead and to the next slide. Okay, so this is the bot framework composer, how it looks like. But before going to that, what I want to do is, why do you need a visual editing canvas? Okay, so few of the things which I feel is, you can with user interface, you can build the bots very faster. So like in a normal case, instead of writing code, you can actually spend more time in your logic than actually writing the code for the things which are used again and again. Second thing, you can actually go ahead and connect to your Lewis and Q&A without any integrations. So the pre-built integrations are available. You just go into settings and you can put your keys into that. By default, if you can see on the top right hand side, you can actually run your bot on local. You can test it in an emulator locally so that you don't need to have any extra IDE for that. So as I said, you have two types of bot composers available with you. One of them is a desktop version of it. That desktop version supports both the Mac OS and Windows OS, and you also have a web version for it. So you don't need an IDE for it. And the bot framework emulator, you can download and you can test it out locally in that case. Next is you can also publish this directly from the bot framework composer to Azure Bot Service, which is one of the advantages which I feel has. And in the morning, I'm not sure who all attended it, the session from Mohit. He explained about the virtual agents in that case. So you can also connect your virtual agents using the bot framework composer and connect it to your virtual agents available with you. Apart from that, you can also connect any existing skill. So if you are an existing bot developer and you have built bot using version 3 or version 4 of bot framework, you can actually go ahead and add that bot as a skill over here in this current bot through the bot framework composer. And you can anytime export this and customize it depending on the runtime you want. So you can have two runtimes in this case. One of them is C# and one of them is in JavaScript. And you can have any extended components also if you want to use. So bot framework composer comes with multiple plugins available. I can try to share with you the links where you can actually go ahead and use that plugins with the bot framework composer. And one last point before we actually go into what exactly the bot framework composer is, things are being managed in the conversation using dialogues. Okay, so this dialogues, what you have over here are adaptive dialogues, and this adaptive dialogues you can have more focus towards how you should have a conversation, and that adapted dialogue can change into anything. It can change into a text input, it can change into a prompt, it can change into a customized multi-level multi-choice input, whatever you want. So this adaptive dialogue will actually help you to you will see that adaptive dialogue in the future, but this is one of the core cases. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what this is. So the bot framework composer, this is how it looks like. And on the left hand side, if you see, this is the hamburger menu over here, which has the home. You have the flow, which is the visual flow out here, where you have your flow chart ready with you. The next one is your dialogues. So whenever you go into a design flow, you will have multiple dialogues available in your list. So you can actually have your flow decided depending on the dialogues you put into. You have multiple triggers. So you can have a Q&A service and a LUIS service, or you can have multiple LUIS services added into your same bot and can be triggered in multiple ways. So you can have multiple triggers out here. You can also connect any of your custom REST services through the bot composer. The second, the center point over here, what you see is all actions. So the green one on the top, which is available out here, if you can see my mouse pointer, is the trigger. Whenever someone asks for whether it might be triggered through a LUIS endpoint when a user asks a question, or you can have a regex pattern also on top of that. And then you can ask, okay, let's check the weather. And you have some questions, you have some answers, or whatever responses you have, you can actually create a flow. And this is nothing but your actions in that case. And your action can be linked together. So for example, if the bot asks a question, the response can be tied up to that. So your question can be tied up. So in the weather example, which you saw in the past, you can actually tie up with your zip code in that case. And with each and every action, you have a properties pane. So that properties pane, you can actually define what text you need, how many times you have counts, you can do it. If you want to allow interruptions in that case. So in the current release, the interruptions have been moved into user input. You can also specify if you want to store this response to a variable out there or a predefined memory variables available on the bot framework. And you can also specify properties directly through the property window out here. So without wasting much time, what we can do is directly jump into the demo. I will switch off my slide out here. And what I will do is I will start my bot framework composer. So let me start the composer out here. and it is starting right now, and here it is. So I have installed a version which is the desktop version for it. I'm using the Mac OS right now, so I have a Mac version 1.3 bot framework composer. As I said, you have the hamburger menu over here where you have your home, your designing pane, your responses, what you want to put, your user inputs. If you have a Q&A model, you can put it out here. You can publish it directly over here, and you can have the project settings directly from the menu out here. Um, Other than that, you have few examples which you can actually refer directly. So you can go to click any of that examples, and it's available through Microsoft Learn. You can go to the URL and it will help you step-by-step guide in terms of what that demo will help you out. And there are some video tutorials also available directly on the start, which will help you get started with the bot framework composer. Now, when you start with a new project, okay, or a new template, you have three options over here. Now, with a good interaction with the Q&A Maker product team, we have a direct template where you can actually go ahead and start a conversation bot through Composer directly through the knowledge base Q&A Maker over here. So you can actually go ahead and either create it from scratch, or you can go ahead and create directly from the knowledge base out here through the Q&A Maker. So I can just show you an example out here, which is let me go ahead and name this as Global AI Demo 01, and I can say this is a simple Q&A bot, and I can go ahead and click next. Sorry. So if you see over here, what happened directly was it asked me for either creating a new knowledge base out here from scratch, or I can have my own knowledge base with my existing FAQs available with me. I can put the source here and I can create a new knowledge base out here for this project. Okay. And this is how my UI looks like. For now, we won't be doing a demo for a Q&A. But what we'll do is we'll go ahead and do a first Hello World bot, which will give us more, flexibility and give us more confidence going into the project. So let's go ahead, and you can go ahead and start create from template, and you can see you have multiple templates out here, which is starting from empty bot or eco bot over here, and you have a lot of other bots samples or bot templates you have available with which you can start with. For now, we'll go ahead with EcoBot. EcoBot, nothing but it's a Hello World application. So whenever you create a bot, it will go ahead, take an input from you, and try to come back with the same input with a predefined text. So if I go ahead over here, I will say Global AI Demo 02. The first demo we didn't complete it, but technically it's a second demo. So I can go ahead and create this. So if you notice here, what happened is this is my menu option. If you want, I can hide it for now. And this is, if you can see over here, this is my dialog over here, correct? And these are my triggers. So there are two triggers in my my current bot project. One of them is an unknown trigger. So if there's nothing happening, what it will do is it will go ahead and send a response, and that's it's a variable. So whatever you have responded, that text it will say, and it will respond back with you said this. Okay. And in the start of the project, whenever you start the bot, you have a greeting bot. So you can actually go ahead and customize this greeting bot in that case. And what will happen over here is I can go ahead and specify whatever. So if instead of greeting, I want to have a welcome bot over here. Okay. And what I can do here is, let me go ahead and click OK. So you can see that my one minute. And okay, so what I will be doing here is let's go ahead and see this. So So yes, you can see the response over here says a method called as welcome user. This welcome user is actually specified as a user response over here, which if I go to my menu in the bot responses, I have something called as a common place where I can put variables out here and specified bot responses, which is welcome to the EcoBot sample. Okay. So if I come back to my design view, and if I go over here and hover on this, you can see this variable will say welcome to the EcoBot sample. Now what I want to do is I want to customize this. So instead of having this, I want to keep this as it is, and I want to say global AI welcome message. Okay, and I can put some text out here, which is and the best part is I can have multiple inputs, or multiple ways I can interact with the user. So let me go ahead and I guess someone is on mute out here. Okay. So what I can go ahead and here in this example, I can say, welcome to Global AI Bootcamp 2021. Okay. And I can have another message out here, which is welcome to Dear Azure event. Or you can say, welcome to conversational AI session. Okay. I can have multiple bot responses actually added over here. If I go ahead and go back and I can see I have 3 responses added over here. Let me make it proper over here. So, okay, this is the case. And now what I can do is I can copy this, go to my design window, and instead of this welcome message, I can go ahead and paste my global AI welcome message. Okay. And if I go and hover over here, you can see I have 3 messages, which is the welcome to Global AI Bootcamp, welcome to Dear Azure event, welcome to a conversation AI session. In this case, what I will do is I want to debug it. For debugging it, we have something called as a bot framework compo emulator. So what I can do is I can start my emulator out here, and till the time it is starting, you can see the emulator out here. Okay. And directly from the composer, the best part is I can start the bot. Okay. When I go ahead and start this bot, so let it start till the time we can actually see the progress out here, which if you can see that it is currently starting, and yes, great. So it is currently running the bot. Okay. And if I want, I can check where it is actually running. Okay. Which is at localhost port 3981. Or if I want, I can just directly click here, test in emulator, and my bot gets started over here. So if you see, randomly from the 3 messages which I said, it said welcome to conversational AI. If I try to refresh it, it can give me whatever conversation. So you can see I got Global AI Bootcamp, welcome to Dear Azure event, welcome to conversation AI session. So it keeps on changing, right? So you can actually specify multiple welcome messages out here in the single variable out here, and you can actually have it displayed out here. So it's a very a simple thing where I will say hi from Global AI Bootcamp demo. So what it will do is it will just return back with whatever I've messaged, which is you said hi from the Global AI Bootcamp. Okay, this was a very, very basic and a simple bot. Let's go ahead and see a bit more advanced one. Okay, so what I will do here is I can go ahead and I can create a trigger. Okay, and instead of having Lewis in the start, what I will do is I will take the default recognizer over here as a regular expression. Okay, and what I will do is I can go ahead and create a new trigger out here. And in the trigger, what I want to do is I have my own blog. Okay, my scenario is I have my own blog, and I want a user to fill his basic information like I'm being exaggerating over here that if you want to subscribe to my blog, please give me your phone number and email address, and I'll make sure that I won't spam you. It doesn't happen in the real world scenario, but yes, let's go ahead. And I will put that as an add user as my trigger. And name of this trigger will be add a user. So go ahead and I'll put as add user as my regex pattern out here. It is very simple right now, but what I'll be doing is I'll be putting that add regex, and the best part is, see now, this is my canvas. Okay, this canvas can be actually, you can add multiple scenarios, you can add multiple things out here. If I go add, I have so many things out here, which is I can send in response, I can ask a question. The question can be a text based, a number based, a confirmation, a multiple choice. You can take a file attachment, you have an OAuth login, or multiple of them. You can have this in your case. You can have a looping mechanism, you can have an if else condition in that case, or you can access external resources also in that case. If you have an HTTP request you want to run, you, okay. Go ahead for now, just sample response, and this sample response is you are in add user trigger. Okay, I will save this, and what I will do is I just need to go ahead and restart my bot. And if I see it's going ahead and updating my bot, and it's running again, I can come back to my bot, restart my conversation, and I will say add user. Now, if you see, it is not going ahead and going to, the unknown intent. It is going to an add user intent, which is what we specified that you are in an add user trigger. So, it goes ahead and takes that input. Now, what we want to do is we want to go a bit more advanced. Okay, so I will go ahead and remove this response. And I would ask a question, which is, hi, welcome to my blog. I would request you to give me some more information about you. Okay, and this is done. What I will do is the first question would be, okay, let's go ahead. Let's not ask their email addresses. I'll go ahead and add a text input out here, and the text input would be, what is your name? Okay, and the user will enter the name. And I will ask the second question is, what is your Twitter handle? Okay, and this is it. I want to ask two questions, and after the whole thing is done, I will go ahead and say thank you for your response. So what I've done is I have a very basic flowchart, and you can see I'm building it directly in front of you, where I said, okay, the first response is this. I want to take your name and I want to take your Twitter handle. I will go ahead and restart my bot out here and check this bot in my emulator. As soon as it is published, it's published there. I will restart it. I will say add user, and see it said, hi, welcome to my blog, and what is your name? My name is Hatem. And what is your Twitter handle? So I'll say it's Hatem Nagarwala. And thank you for response. But what happened here is basically, if you can see from the logs, it took a regex pattern through the regex recognizer, and it gave us this answer. But now the thing is, I took the responses, but I didn't store it anywhere. So what I will be doing here is I will go back to my action again, and I can go to my user input, and I can specify that this user input should be stored into my memory. So this user input, I can store it, for example, dialog dot name. Okay, and I can put it out here. And for the second one, I can go ahead and for the Twitter handle, I can say dialog. So dialog is a place where you can actually store your temporary data in that case. So I can put, for example, Twitter out here. Okay. And in the response, what I can do is I can say dialog dot text dialog dot name. Okay. And I can save it out here and restart my bot. Let's go back to the bot. Once it is done, I will rerun this. And okay, I want to add user. What's your name? It's Hatem. What's your Twitter handle? It's Hatem Nagarwala. And thank you for responses. So I guess I'm somewhere wrong in the syntax out here. Let me verify this. So basically, if I run again. And I will put my Twitter handle out here. So, okay, there is something wrong with my my response out here. I will check this one shortly within the demo itself. But we can go on to the next step here is this way to actually go ahead and take text inputs from the user and also create a conversation out here in that case. Okay, so what I did here is I created a add user which was through a regex pattern. Okay, and in that case I don't want to use a regex pattern right now, but I want to make sure that I can in that case. Okay, so what I can do is I can go ahead and remove this trigger, and I can go ahead and make this default as a custom recognizer. And that custom recognizer, I can put it as default for now. And I can go ahead and add a trigger. It is my Lewis trigger. And I can go ahead and put my Lewis trigger as add user trigger. And I can say some phrases out here, which is collect my or add my Twitter handle or add my info. I can put multiple things to actually go ahead and use this trigger out here. I can click submit. And another thing which is really good out here is as soon as you added this trigger, it went ahead and gave me an error. Okay, the error says that the Lewis key is missing in my settings because I added Lewis into my project. So what I can go ahead and do is I can see, click on that, and it navigates me to my Lewis authorization key. I can go ahead and I have my key ready with me. I can go ahead and copy this key out here, go back to my project, and if I can see here, I have fixed it. Enter this, and it's not a endpoint key. It's in West Europe, and that's it. Save it, go back to my designing, and if you see, the error is gone. Now, what I will be doing is I will be doing the same question, which is going ahead and asking the text, which is what is your name? But now if you notice that I'm using Lewis without actually taking user information. Like for example, in the previous case, I had a fixed regex pattern out there, but in this case, I don't have a fixed regex pattern. I have phrases, and I will show you how these phrases will work. If I restart my bot in this case, my bot is starting still. And it's rebuilding. Okay, so it's ready now. We can go to our emulator, restart this bot, and I can say collect my info. So if you see here in the trace, it actually went to Lewis with my text, and it came back with a 0.96 confidence, right? So I want to collect my information, and because of this, it went ahead and triggered my current flow, which I wanted to do and which I wanted to run from. Okay, so it helps me to actually go ahead and collect my information. What's your name? I can go ahead, do the same answer, and now I don't have any other dialog box over here. So it took Hatem. It didn't do anything with that. I can actually go ahead and do a lot of things in that case. So in this example, what I wanted to actually show you was how you can actually connect Lewis inside, how you can train your phrases with sample information directly from here with an intent trigger, which is add user. And in the later on, you can actually go ahead and add more triggers into your project, or you can add more custom messages out here, which is any messages which you want to put, like what I did out here. And you can actually put conditions out here, or you can store it into the memory. Okay, so let me go back again, and I wanted to show you an example where in a conversation, sometimes what happens is you have decided one flow, which is okay, you wanted to collect the information, but what if the user got confused in between, and user wants to ask some more question in that case where, okay, why should I provide you my Twitter handle, or why should I provide you my name? So I have a complex scenario in that case. What I did for that is I've created a sample sometime back before the demo where I have two things which I have integrated in the sample. Okay, one of them is where I can cancel my conversation at any point of time. Okay, I will show you how to do that with the existing mechanisms also. And you can ask a question where you can seek help from the bot in between a conversation, or you can actually ask a question why I should provide this information. Okay. So if I go through this, I have two dialogues in my whole project. One of them is my welcome activity, which is it will give me whatever welcome messages I have. I second one is a dialogue which will help me to get started, which is my get profile dialogue, where I have four things. One is begin dialogue, where I will get my name and my age into that. Second trigger is, I can ask anytime why I have to provide this information. My third trigger is if I don't provide any proper information in that case. And the fourth one is if I provide proper information, where I can put my person name and person age into that case. Okay. So now, if I go back to my conversation project, I have two things added into this. One of them is a cancel dialog, which is a common dialog where you can add it anywhere into your project. So if I go to any place in my project, I can go ahead and I can say that I want to add in dialog management, cancel all the active dialogues. Okay. So you can actually go ahead and add this dialog or end this dialog. You can add this dialog management inside the current dialog, or you can put a help dialog over here in the activity, which you can say, what are the activities you want to provide. So let me go ahead and do this demo quickly. I guess I'm running out of time. I will make sure to, how much time do I have, Kasam? Okay, so let me start with this right now. We'll finish this demo as early as possible. So, yes, Kasam.
Sorry, I missed your question. Something.
Yeah, I was asking how much time do I have still?
Then you can extend if you want because the
Okay,
next session is cancelled because the speaker has
okay.
some medical emergency, so you can extend if you want.
No problem, no problem. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Ravi. So okay, so we have time for going on this demo in a deep dive. So what I can do is I can start this bot, okay, and let's wait for this to run it on my local host, and it's still executing. So what we'll do is we'll try 3 or 4 scenarios in that case, where if you are able to cancel it in between a conversation, if you are able to seek a help in between a conversation, and also you can ask questions why you are doing this. And the fourth one would be to not provide proper information. So what is my failover condition in that case? So let me go to my bot. I can just restart the bot again, and you can see that hello, welcome to the Global AI Bootcamp. I can be interrupted anytime. This is what my bot will do today. Let's go ahead and say the bot get started. So now it asks me what is your name, okay? And you can also provide suggestions, which is, okay, why should I provide my name? I don't want to provide my name. I want to cancel it or I want to reset my profile. So let us try the why option first. Why? I'm curious about it. Why do you want my name? So it's like, okay, I need your name to address you correctly. That's why they are asking the name. And then I can ask the question again to the user that, okay, what is your name? And it can go into an endless loop. So if I can show you back in my process over here, a bit zoom in this project so that I can show you what is it written out here, which is if you ask this question and this intent has been raised, you can actually say that, okay, there are two options over here. If in my current profile, I don't have a username, I will say that, okay, I need your name for this, and again, go back to my existing activity. If I've entered my name, then I will say that I need your age because I just have two questions out here in my sample, which is either name or age out here. So I say, okay, my name is, I don't want to provide my name, so I'll put no name. So it says, okay, no worries, I'll set your name as human. Why it did that is because I have another trigger which said if the user profile name is existing out here, it will go ahead and say when I put no name, it will go ahead and say that okay, no worries, I set you as a human right now, and it will go back and set your name as human in that case. So whenever the bot will address you into the future, it will go ahead and say that okay, you are a human out here. Now it is asking you how old are you. So okay, I am surely not 10 years old. I can say 10. and hello human, I have your age as 10. Okay. And if you see out here in this whole dialog, which is available out here, I had an activity to take the age of the user, and I had an activity to take the input of the user. So what I did out here is uh, I put my user.profile.age as my property, which is the variable, and I understood my mistake. I should have put a dollar sign outside this. It happens during the demos where in my previous example I couldn't show you that. We'll come back to that demo and we'll go ahead and do that. And now my second example is I want to go ahead and refresh this bot. Okay, I want to say get started. Okay, but I want to cancel it in between. So I'm interrupting the bot every time it is asking the question, and it said, okay, I've canceled it. So if you want, go ahead and start again. So get started. So in this get started, it will again ask me what is my name. Let me put my proper name, which is Hatem. And now if you can see that, okay, it took my proper name and how are you doing? How old are you? So now I put, for example, 25 and hello Hatem, I have your age as 25. So you saw we saw how you can actually interrupt this, and interrupting is not straightforward that you have it by default in the composer. So what you have to do is you can actually go to your base dialog which you have been preparing. You can click on the action or the dialog which you're preparing. You can go to your user input, and in the user input, sorry, in the others part, you have something called as prompt configuration, and you can say your allow interruptions should be true out here. So you have two options. Either you can allow the interruptions or you can not allow the interruptions. So in some cases, you need to make sure that your conversation should go on endlessly. In that case, you cannot allow interruption. But in some cases, yes, you need to allow interruptions. You need to clear some doubts for the user, because in some cases, yes, you have to do it. And you can utilize it in any form filling activity you have. So if I go back to my previous example, which is my this example, and if I go to my this trigger and I put this into my dialog out here, which is dialog.name, and I want to just come back with a response saying your name is dialog.name. Okay, and I save this. If I go back and run this project, which is directly starting the bot, I can come back to my emulator. And go ahead, and once it is running, I can restart my bot. Welcome to Global AI Bootcamp. And so actually, it gave me a welcome bot over here. Okay. My trigger is add user. So, and it is running through collect my data. So now I'll be trying something new, collect my data, and it should go into the add bot, which is correct. So if you see out here the trace, it went to my Lewis and it gave me a score of 0.92 in that case. And I put my name as Hatem, and you can see that your name is Hatem over here. So in this case, this is how you can actually use the composer and build your bots really fast. And if you see in my whole example or whole demos, I didn't use a single line of code in that case. If you want to go ahead and see the code, you can actually go ahead and take your JSON file out here, and you can generate the code from the JSON file JSON file from your bot itself. Now this is where how it looks like, and other things which I can actually show you here is I can actually go ahead and publish this bot to my Azure account. Okay, so I can go ahead and select a publish target. I can manage a profile out here. The profile is where I can set up this this profile on my Azure account. Right now I don't have my Azure account ready with me. That's why I won't be able to demo this one. But you can actually go ahead and create multiple published profiles out here where you can actually go ahead and publish this to your end. I'll just give you a few of the resources out here, which is as I said, you can actually go to aka.ms composer out here, which will take you to the GitHub page for the bot framework composer, which is open source. You can actually go ahead and get started with any OS which you're using. You can use composer on a Windows, Mac, and Linux environment. You can use it on the web. You can actually support it, and you can contribute to the project also because it's on an open source license. And you can actually go ahead and check the releases out here to download this desktop version of it. Here you can find the latest releases, and you can download the Linux version, Mac version, or the Windows version from here. You have multiple samples out here, which you can actually go ahead and check the bot framework composer in that case. So if you go to the Microsoft Learn portal, you have a lot of tutorials where you can how you can add language generation to your code, add cards to your case, and other parts into it. So I guess this was a brief overview for you to actually go ahead and start building bots using the bot framework composer and help you to create conversational bots in this case. I am happy to help in any questions you have and anything which I can help you out in this session. Thank you, Kasim, for the opportunity and the stage. You can go ahead for the Q&As, right?
So thank you, Hatim. Thanks for your time. Um, it was really an informative one. So many new things came to know about this bot composer. So guys, anyone does have any questions or something to ask?
Uh, yeah, I have a question to Hatim. Hi, Hatim.
Yes, Akash. Hi, Akash. How are you?
Yeah, I am doing good. So, Hatim, as it was really an amazing session using bot frame composer here. So, when we are deploying this bot, so will this will be available as an API to me or like what? Like I know that yes, we can integrate with Teams and other application as such, but what if I want to use this bot as an API? So will that provide me as an API, like if I'm using a Postman and having a conversation through an API, is that possible?
So actually, there is something called as Akash direct line available. So basically, if you build a bot using bot framework composer or bot framework SDK, you will host this bot on Azure Bot Service. Okay. Uh, After that, what will happen is there is something called as direct line channel as a channel. So after you publish it, what will happen is you can enable a channel which gives you a direct line. Okay. And that direct line you can actually access this direct line through APIs. So these APIs can be managed through a client secret and client ID. And that client ID and secret you can actually go ahead and run this through. I'm not sure. I haven't tried with Postman yet, but you can use the authentication and you can use it as a REST service in your custom code. So I've for your information, Akash, I did that with one of the projects with Oman Airlines. And what we did in that case was they didn't wanted any custom any bot framework composer. Okay. And what they wanted to do is they wanted to integrate it inside their actual website with a custom UI. So what we did was we created a full UI for chat kind of mechanism, and we utilize the direct line conversation through HTTP requests. So we used to call the message and we used to get responses and directly show it in a custom UI in that case. I hope that will answer your question.
Yes, I think. Thank you. And in the bot framework, can we have a session like thing like after a certain of inputs we have given, and that session can be ended now too, and then we can begin to new session. Is that possible in bot
So
framework?
instead of a session, yes, you can have sessions also. But what is recommended out here is you have the memory example which I showed you, right? So what you will do is you will kind of create a place where you give an option to the user to either use the same things which are there in the bot's memory for that user, or you allow them to reset that session. So what will happen is you will just clear your local variables which you have stored, like how I did the dialog.name and dialog.twitter. In that way, you can actually store your information and you can delete it. There is a predefined session available for a user, which if I can share my screen again for a minute, I will show you that example in that case where in my last example which we did, this one, if you see the on begin dialog over here, it is stored into a property called as user.profile.name. Okay, and this user is nothing but is a part of a session. And if I want to go ahead and reset my profile, I can actually go ahead and reset that profile out here.
Actually, I'm not seeing your screen. I don't know why.
Okay, let me stop and share it again. Okay, can you see it now?
Yeah, now I'm able to see your screen. Yeah.
Yes, so if I show you over here in this on begin dialog, okay, I'm storing this information into something called as user.profile.name. Okay, so this user.profile is my session currently, and I can actually go ahead and reset the session whenever I want in between, where if the user in between says reset my profile or forget me or something like that, I can actually go ahead and create a dialog and I can reset the user utterance. And this is a active dialog which is available as a replacing the user session in that case.
Hatim, as in this we have stored the name and age into a variable, so we can connect this bot framework to some database, so where the data can be stored, because it could be like a session thing. So
yes, yes, you can do that. What happens is actually there is another question on the Q&A, which is can the bot ask 4 fields form, and also you can save data in database. Okay, so Sanjay, the thing is it is possible to ask 4 questions at the same time, but then in the response, when you are actually parsing that data, you have to create such a model to understand which part is what. So for example, I can tell you that I'm making a ticket booking application, and I ask the user, okay, what do you want to do today? And I say that, okay, book a flight for me from Dubai to Mumbai on 25th of January. Okay, so what will happen in that case is I have multiple parameters over here. The first parameter is I want to travel from Dubai to Mumbai. So I have a from location, I have a to location, and I have something called as my date. Okay, so what I'll be doing is I'll be preparing a Lewis model, and that Lewis model will have entities into that, and that entities will help me to understand which is my from, which is my to. So yes, 100% you can have that 4 fields together. And for the question for Akash and Sanjay, both of you, I showed you, I can share my screen again. You cannot directly connect to a database, but what you can do over here is, let me share my screen first. You can anytime go ahead and add a dialog or a part where you can actually call HTTPS services. So you see an HTTP request where you can actually go ahead and call a normal HTTP request, and you can do whatever you want in that HTTP request in that case.
So basically, Hatim, you're trying to say when you get that responses, you should make an HTTP post call and then to store into database. Is that like you're trying to say?
Yeah, correct.
Oh, okay.
So whatever logic will be there will be on your HTTP request in that case.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Hatim. Thanks for answering all
Thank you, Akash. Any other questions we have?
Hi, Hatim. I just wanted to know one thing. Is that bot framework composer will be part of AI 100 exam or not?
AI 100. I don't think so. It is a part of AI 100. Qasim can actually give you more details about it.
Okay, fine.
But
okay, thank you.
I'm not 100% sure it's a part of AI 100 here.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Any more questions, guys?
Any questions? Yeah.